What? Um, Hi, my name is Logan Medford. I am currently doing my IO, which is on Handmaid's Tale as the literary work written by Margaret Atwood, and the non-literary work is Shahami. I'm trying to say her name right. Harsami, who is a street artist, and I have two of her pieces and a 40-line part from the book. And the overarching theme, the global issue, is um, systematic oppression of women by the government. Starting it off with Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale is about control, control, control. Everything about Handmaid's Tale is based in some kind of control, mostly over the women. They are controlled in every aspect of their lives. There's nothing that they do that is not controlled by their government, the government of Gilead. I think I'm saying that right too. Um, they are, from what they wear to what they are doing during the day to what they can do, what they can't do, everything is controlled. They are controlled in every aspect of their life. But if I dive deeper into a lot of it is there's themes of a false sense of safety, which I will get into. There's a lot. It's all just based in control. Um, Starting it off with their modesty costume, which is the dress they wear. They wear it to reflect the blood, because menstrual blood, because that's what they are to the government. They are slaves meant to give birth. Um, the modesty costumes are a representation of that. That is all they can wear: a red head or white headdress with red cloth dress. Um, where I'd like to go into more of the control with is the manipulation. They are sitting there semicircle. They do this kind of control by manipulation, like false information, false safety, all that. From the 40-line passage I took, which was the scene of where Janine explains that she was gang raped when she was 14 and had an abortion, where they sit there in the circle and call her a slut, and they say it's her fault, and they slut shame her for being raped. It's terrible. It's honestly horrible. They are. I gotta take this off. It's a form of control. They're controlling her. They're controlling what everyone around her thinks. It's mentioned in the book in the line. I feel like I enjoy this, or I'm. It's. I'm. She. It's mentioned in the book that she knows that she should be doing this, basically. And they sit there, and it's another form of control. You don't want to be the person in the middle. You should feel bad for them, but you're glad it's not you. And they sit there and use religion as an excuse for that, and say that God allowed it to happen because God is punishing Janine for what she's doing, which is not being modest, which is what the government wants you to be, or modest, which is really just following their rules and not, breaking them. They tell her that God did this to teach her a lesson, to not as for what she was doing. They sit there and put her down for it. It's just terrible. It's horrible. They sit there calling her a crybaby, crybaby, crybaby. And that relates back to it of the government's aspect of control over women and what they're doing with their bodies. So she did not have a choice in that situation, and she did not want to do that. It wasn't, but it was forced upon her, And now she's being blamed for it, even though it was very clearly not her fault. Yeah. And now for Hassani's artwork, which I'm transferring over to. I have these two pieces, which is that one and that one. You also will probably see it in the dock I'm going to turn in. The first thing I'd like to start with is in both of them, her hair is just barely breaking out, which I believe is a reference to her, just barely breaking the glass to get to freedom. It's cracked. It's not, she doesn't have freedom. She's still forced into these positions by the government, by her culture. She doesn't have really all of her rights, which goes more into her clothing, where she is not allowed to take off the headdress. I should have said that to start with, but she is forced to wear it. She's forced to cover herself. She's not really allowed to not to. She doesn't have the freedom to. The next thing I would like to point out is in this one, which is the men behind her. The men behind her are what I believe is meant to be a representation of the men in the government that are controlling her, and how that is a reflection of her real life, where she cannot take it off. She cannot play music like in both of these pictures, because any music that is not vocal music is forbidden and haram. So she cannot play music. It's another thing. But she is not able to really live a life. She's not willing to be free. She has to be covered. She can't play music. But her hair is breaking out in both these photos. This one a lot less more, because there's the men behind her backing her up, or with the guns, because that's society. That's them being backed up. That's them not being able to live their life. You can see also in this photo, this was a pretty funny little detail, she's heartbroken over this. She does not have a choice in this. It's terrible. The next thing I'd like to point out is in this one again, there's the city behind in her dress. So it's not just her, it's her as her whole culture, her whole livelihood. All of the women around her are in the same boat that she is, where they want to break free, but they cannot. None of them have enough rights. None of them are, far enough along where it's okay. Like, they cannot break out of this. It's not just her. It's not just one person. It's many, many people not being able to get out, which very well leads into my next point, which is in neither of the photos does she have a mouth, because she cannot speak out about these things, because it's really impossible for her to speak out about these things. So that is represented perfectly without a mouth. Her people, her culture, she cannot speak out. It's against the law. The government is enforcing it on her. She can't speak out about it. She can't play music. She can't be free from her headdress. It's all controlled. She is tied to this oppression systematically by the government, where she is unable to speak out. She's unable to do anything. She's unable to really live her life the way she wants to, because the government is oppressing her. And it's pretty terrible.